Speaking of people going absolutely insane mode over the prosecution of Israel's unpopularity, the British police have arrested protesters on suspicion of terror offenses after Palestine Action was banned. Palestine Action was banned after one of the direct actions that they engaged in, where they went to the Royal Air Force planes, like they went to a Royal Air Force plane hangar and spray painted some of these planes that were supposed to ship weapons to Israel with red paint. And the government worked to proscribe Palestine Action as a terrorist group. So now when you say that you are pro-Palestine Action, it is akin in the UK, in the United Kingdom, to saying that you are pro-ISIS. Terror offenses from that bill can hold up to a 14-year prison sentence. And in the process of this, they also arrested an 80-year-old priest for holding up a sign that says, "I support Palestine Actions." Only a handful of MPs voted in opposition to prescription. Prescription is the process in which, in the UK, a group is prescribed to be a terror organization. They have it for like ISIS. They added cynically a couple Nazi groups into this bill as well in an effort to make sure it passed. Okay. And now they're packing people up. By the way, JD Vance, you were completely correct that we do not have freedom of speech in this country, and you shouldn't have let Keir Starmer openly lie to you that we do. She faces now up to 14 years in prison and a criminal record as a terrorist, significantly limiting her ability to travel. In British law, she is the equivalent of an ISIS operative. Here is the extent of the British police deployed to arrest a handful of priests, professors, and activists for holding up signs that say, "I oppose genocide, I support Palestine Action." Think about that. Think about how insane that is. I, of course, posted about this as well, even though Philip Proudfoot is adding JD Vance about the lack of free speech in the UK. I say JD Vance and Marco Rubio made a big show of how horrible the free speech rules were in the UK. Now that it's an actual egregious, cynical violation of free expression because it's against Israel, they'll say nothing. Hell, they champion the same restrictions here. Add insult to injury, Keir Starmer himself defended a group of anti-war protesters against the Iraq war that did the exact same thing that Palestine Action did.
You're here today. I'm here to stand up for the people of Palestine and the fact that this organisation being said is a terrorist organisation, which is totally nonsense, and that we are losing our civil liberties.
Like the booby is holding on to this dangerous terrorist, okay? This dangerous terrorist woman. Once again, technically, under British law, I'm currently showing you terrorism propaganda. Do you understand how stupid that is? Hopefully this will shed a little bit of light onto how stupid the terrorism designation is and how little it should matter for normal human beings, okay? Because right now I am technically promoting a dangerous terrorist group according to the United Kingdom. This lady, under the eyes of the law as of today, basically an ISIS affiliate. Yeah, British nationals who commit war crimes and participate in genocide are allowed, no questions asked, back into the UK. Also, a recent BBC story revealed that MI5 was protecting a neo-Nazi informant who was a known abuser and lied to courts about it. So I don't think our Prime Minister human rights lawyer gives a yeah. Add insult to injury, though, like I said, when he was a human rights lawyer, he defended in the courts, in the British court system, he defended someone who did a protest, did the exact same thing as Palestine Action, which was, I think, to spray paint or dump paint on planes that were supposed to fly to Iraq. I understand America's dedication towards defending Israel, but it really confuses me as to why UK takes such draconian action when it comes to things associated with Israel. I guess they're working towards Western interests, but I don't know. What do you mean? Israel is initially a British settler colony. Israel was created by England. Israel was created by the British. They made it, and they've actively participated in the genocide. At least currently, today, they have no reason to. They currently have no reason to do all of this. The reason why they're doing this is because they want to feel powerful. It's so stupid. Zoe Gardner cited Starmer defending activists on LBC.
Palestine Action have been involved in a sustained, aggressive, broad campaign that undermines the rule of British law and undermines Britain's national security. They've engaged in 356 direct attacks to the tune of £55 million worth of damage. And
yeah, by the way, what they're describing is like dumping paint on Elbit Systems, which is a Israeli weapons manufacturer, or doing stuff like this, dumping paint on like Royal Air Force planes, right? And it's literally direct action. People in England always yell at climate change protesters for going to like museums and throwing a can of soup or something at a painting. They'll be like, oh, if you want to be impactful, why don't you go after the real people, the harmful people, the oil and gas giants, right? So when these guys are literally doing that, okay, when they are directing their animosity, anger to entities and organizations, institutions, private and public, that directly participate in this ongoing genocide, then they're like, you're a terrorist and you need to go to jail.
US warplanes reaching Iraq. It was Keir Starmer, who was the lawyer who defended them on the basis that they were acting for the greater good to prevent war crimes from taking place. And in 2017, 2 activists attempted to disarm Typhoon jets to prevent them reaching Saudi Arabia and to take part in war crimes in Yemen. And they were again found not guilty on the basis that they were attempting to prevent war crimes, which is the true intention, actually, of this group. It is not their intention to intimidate or to damage national security. It is their intention to prevent war crimes from taking place, which are taking place. And while we can agree that they took the matters into their own hands, they knew they were committing criminal damage, they knew they were committing vandalism, and they should be charged under those terms. The idea that they are terrorists and that I, now for expressing my support for them, could face serious terrorist charges, up to 14 years in jail, is a terrifying escalation and abuse of state power, and we should not stand for it for a second.
Technically, according to the law, even saying that you oppose Palestine Action being prescribed as a terrorist organization is against the law and you can get 14 years. Well, you know, I stand with Palestine Action, and they should not be proscribed, and they are a moral force for good in this island of cruelty and evil that's getting seemingly worse and worse every day. They also are the voice of the majority. They are not alone, and any attempts to prosecute this is going to backfire spectacularly, because this kind of cruelty only creates more resentment, only creates more animosity, because everyone understands, the overwhelming majority of the public are fully aware of what the is going on, and they're obviously understandably frustrated with the fact that their governments are not doing anything. They're not doing the right thing. And on top of that, this kind of like over prosecution is going to really piss off people.
Are the ones killing children.
Arrested for allegedly supporting a newly designated terrorist organisation.
You are under arrest under Section 13 of the Terrorism Act.
From midnight on Friday, it became illegal to be a member of or to support Palestine Action after the Home Secretary prescribed the group, placing it alongside the likes of Hamas and Al-Qaeda. Displaying the group's logo is enough to potentially face a lengthy prison term. Yet that didn't stop dozens of people standing up against what they say is an attack on democratic rights.
Are you not afraid that you're going to potentially go to jail for 14 years?
Can't arrest us all.
It does seem that there is quite a lot of police here to do it.
The juror's like, they're trying. Madam, look at the amount of bobbies. They are trying to arrest you all. Are left-wing extremists a threat in Britain? 64% of Labour says no. 34% of Conservatives say no. 34% of Reform says no. Overall, 47% say no. 36% say yes. That's crazy. The fact that there are 36% of the British public consider left-wing extremists a threat to Britain is nutty. The ability to prosecute people for only verbal support of a prescribed organization was only added in 2010. The Terrorism Act was put in 2000. Yeah. Poll, more in common. Ask voters to list Labour's biggest achievement after 1 year in power. The top answer by a landslide, nothing. Followed by NHS. Don't know what they did for the NHS. Maybe they did some. I haven't been paying close attention.
Protesters are vowing to continue their action until the group is deprescribed. Now they will have to wait to find out the sentences of those arrested on Saturday and decide whether continued support is a risk worth taking. Oliver Whitfield-Mirchich, Sky News, London.